I've had a lot of people tell me they're ashamed to be Americans. They see what has happened. They are ashamed to be Americans. I'm not. I'm not ashamed to be an American in any way, shape, or form. I am proud to be an American. And, you know, I know people, I think Rich Lowry at National Review has said this, that everybody in every country says their country's the best. It's just what you do. And you know, I don't say the United States is the best because I live here. And I want to be very clear. A lot of people you've never traveled the world and you say, well, the United States is the best because it's what you know. You're an American. You're proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm proud to be an American because I have traveled the entire world. I have lived across the world. And I've seen I've still been to more countries on planet Earth than I have been to states in this nation. I have never been to Oklahoma, where I am not only on, I was just looking at my live streaming data. My goodness gracious, the number of people listening to me live online in Oklahoma is impressive. I stopped by Oklahoma 2 weeks ago on my way to Vegas. My plane, I was on a small private plane and had to land in Oklahoma City and refuel because I'm fat. I weighed down the plane. We were against the jet stream. But on the way back, Priority Jet got me all the way back to Atlanta without a stop. But the only time I've ever been to Oklahoma was when I was on the Priority Jet flight 2 weeks ago and had to land in Oklahoma City for a pit stop. I was in Oklahoma City for all of 20 minutes. The nice lady at the private flight service there at the Oklahoma City airport gave me a homemade chocolate chip cookie. Delightful person. I'd love to go back to Oklahoma. I've never been to Oklahoma. I can sing the song. I had to sing it when I was in fourth grade. I've never been to the Dakotas, north or south. I've never been to Washington State or Oregon. Never been to Hawaii. I've never been to New Mexico. Haven't spent really any time in New England. I'm going to Delaware in a couple of weeks to give a speech. It'll be my first time in Delaware. I've been to Michigan once, never to the Upper Peninsula. That's where I want to go. I've seen more countries than states. I've been to Europe and Africa, Asia, Southeast Asia. I've been to India. I've been to Egypt. I've been to Italy. I've been to the Czech Republic. I've been to Turkey. I've been to Greece. I've been to Sweden. I've been to China. I've been to Australia. I've been to Malaysia. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Oman. I've been to the United Arab Emirates. I've been to Syria. I've been to Jordan. I've been to Sri Lanka. I've been all over the place. There's no country like this one. There's no country like this one. Every other country is homogenous, for the most part. This country is not homogenous. It's idiosyncratic in that it's not homogenous. We are a very heterogeneous country. You've got 50 sovereign countries that have come together to form a United States. You have different regions with different dialects. You have different accents. You have different words. You have pop. You have soda. You have God's own Coca-Cola. Unless you're Philip, then you like Pepsi, which is why he keeps getting fired. You got California. You've got Northern California and Southern California, two completely different places. You've got West Texas and East Texas. In one, you have mountains and desert. The other, you have trees and plains. And then you've got Austin and the hippies. It's like San Francisco with a Texas accent. You got the Panhandle of Florida, which is South Georgia. You've got Miami, which is North Cuba. You've got the middle of Florida, which is God's country and the rat. You got the Jacksonville area, which is awesome. We go to Amelia Island frequently. Love that area. Got a lot of friends down there. The diversity of this nation and its people and its cultures and its language and its foods is something you will not find anywhere else. India perhaps comes closest, but even then, it's not the same. The United States is a very unique country. It is the third most populous, the fourth largest landmass. It is distinct. I am not ashamed to be an American at all. I am very proud to be an American. The problem, I think, is that there are those in this country who are ashamed of this country because they know no better. They have gotten lazy and they lack curiosity while being convinced that their lack of curiosity is true curiosity. And those of us who have traveled the world and seen it through and realize there is no place like the United States, that somehow we're the ones who lack curiosity. No, I have been there and seen it. Far more than your wokesters of Boko Haram. I have been around the world. I have traveled. I have lived in the Middle East. I have been all over these countries, and the United States is the best there is. You should not be ashamed of the United States in one bit. If you are ashamed of the United States, if you believe the United States is the sum of its sins instead of the sum of its greatness, the problem is you, not the country, and you should get out and live the world and see the world, and you will realize how blessed you are to be here. It's not a privilege to be an American. It is a blessing to be an American. And God put this country here on this planet for a reason, and we seem to have forgotten the reason. We're not the world's policeman. Everybody's, we're tired of being the world's policeman. We are not the world's policeman. We are defender of the Western Order. And what is this Western Order? Well, I can tell you I've seen the Eastern Order and the Western Order. I have seen it around the world. Do you know the countries that are the most stable post-colonial countries on the planet are the ones that are derived from the Anglosphere? The countries, whether in Africa, South America, the Pacific, the Caribbean, the Eastern and the Western Hemisphere, the countries that derive from Great Britain's system are the most stable on the planet. The ones that the Russians or the Soviets then took over and persuaded to embrace communism, the ones that have embraced socialism, those are the countries that are derelict and collapsed. We're not the world's policemen. People, they get tired of this. You know, when the United States gets tired, bad things happen. There are a lot of people, a lot of my friends, frankly, who want to turn inward, who say, well, we've done enough. We spent too much abroad. We need to get rid of the foreign aid. We need to scrap it all. It's a waste of money. And what they're actually doing is China's bidding for them. Now, you may not view it that way. You may think, oh, no, I just look, we're trillions of dollars in national debt. We don't have the money to spend on foreign aid to Kraplakistan. We need to let the Chinese spend it. But the Chinese will take inroads there. We're the greatest country the world has ever seen. If there's shame, the shame needs to be directed at our political leaders who have forgotten that. Our political leaders seem to think that it's a prideful sin. You know, pride can be a sin. I saw yesterday the obituary of someone who not only didn't want to take the vaccine, but actively, publicly shamed people who wanted it. Pridefully told them all that they didn't need it, that they would be fine, that they were healthy people, that he was a healthy person, that COVID was all mythology, the vaccine was worse than COVID, and he wouldn't get it, and if he got it, he would be fine because he was a healthy 30-something. He's dead. Pride can lead to the fall. Pride can be a sin. Pride can be sinful. Pride, perhaps, is the greatest sin, according to C.S. Lewis. But being proud of your country is not prideful sin. You have to be careful between the two. But just being proud of your country is not sinful. But a lot of the intellectual elite in this country, a lot of the progressive elite in this country have decided that if you're proud, that you know the Bible says it's a sin. They don't even believe in the Bible, but they think the pride is a sin. And being proud of your country is not a sin. It's just the United States is the best. And we should be humble. We should exercise some humility, but we shouldn't give up leadership in the world. We shouldn't say, oh, well, we don't have enough money. Well, we just, it's not good. we're tired of being the policemen of the world. Other countries need to do their fair share. No, other countries can't. Other countries do not have the uniqueness of America to be able to lead and do it and not make those other territories their colonies. There's this level of academic shame that comes into the country that, the Americans have an empire too. We've got an empire and it's a bad empire just like all the other empires. Empire itself is not bad. China's building an empire. It's going to be bad because we've decided to step back and say, we'll let others do the heavy lifting. It's the cost of being the best. I was talking to a friend of mine who is gotten very wealthy. And, he's gotten wealthy through hard work. He didn't inherit it. He came from humble beginnings, and he's gotten very wealthy. And he was saying, when you get wealthy, the cost of being wealthy and good, the cost goes up. And what he meant by that was people know that he's wealthy. And as a result of him being wealthy, he feels the extra need to tip extra, to go the extra mile, to be more generous. And he's totally fine to do it. But his point was that being blessed at that level comes with cost. That you, to some degree, have to be a blessing to other people because God's given you much, so you're to do much with what he's given you. And if you don't, he's going to pull it back from you. But also, you get to that point and you're going to be whispered about as the jerk, the rich guy who got too big for his britches. And there are a lot of people in our political leadership on both sides of the aisle who said, we've gotten too big for our britches. We need to scale it back. We can't afford to be generous to these poor countries in third world areas of the world. Let China do it. China's glad to do it. China is glad to pick up the slack. And that's what the Biden administration has missed in all of their broken promises. And we will get to the broken promises. Maybe they didn't miss it. Maybe it's intentional. But I think some of you did because I hear all the time, we can't be the world's policeman. We can't stop all of this. Why us? We're spending so much money abroad. Look at all of our problems at home. Our problems will get worse at home because the problems abroad will come here unless we keep them at bay. The Biden administration has not only left Afghanistan and left behind Americans and broken their promises, they've now further destabilized the world. They've created a vacuum to which something wicked will come, either China or terrorists. We've seeded the ground. In the worst case scenario, which is also the most likely scenario, it'll be China and the terrorists together coming for us because we're signaling we're tired. We're ready to go back to sleep. The sleeping giant woke in World War II. The giant's ready to go back to sleep. Question is, will they try to smother us once we've gone to sleep? They want to, and it looks like Joe Biden is perfectly willing to allow them. The question is, are the Republicans willing to allow it? And many of them have echoed the same sentiments of we've got to get off the world stage. We can't police it. Y'all, we were never policing anything. We were defending the Western way of life against what's coming. And if you don't believe me, you're not going to have to wait long to see what's coming, and you're not going to like it.